Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. I've got two quick things to say right off the bat. One, that if I'm not looking directly at you, it's because the camera is a little to the left. I'm on landscape mode and it's a little different than portrait mode. And so I am looking at I'm technically looking at the camera, but it's not, yeah. Anyways, and the second thing is, this is a conversation. So if you have any questions, if anything I say bothers you or you don't agree with, put it down in the comments. Let me know, right? And I'll try to put my case across and we'll try and come to an agreement, because this is a conversation. It's not me talking, it's not JP talking, it's a conversation. And I'm sure he'd want that as well. So let's quickly get into this, because I know this video is kind of lengthy. And it's been like, what, the 5th time I'm taking this video, the 5th take, and every single time my camera app has been crashing, and it's getting frustrating. Anyways, so let's get into this quickly before the camera app crashes once again. This week, as I was discerning what to talk about, as I was thinking about what to talk about, I couldn't help but get the idea of dating. And the more I thought about it, the more it seemed to resonate with me. Why? Because I figured who better to talk about dating than a 17-year-old single guy? Okay, that intro may have been a little corny, but hear me out. I've got 3 solid points. 1 is determining the relationship. 2, being sex is not love. And 3 is overcoming lust and developing it into love. And I'm sure you're gonna like this video. So 1, I'm gonna talk about determining the relationship. So to begin, a lot of people have asked the question of, how do I find, the one? Well, Jason Everett and Father Mike gave a pretty good talk about that. And I have some of the links down below in the description. But Jason Everett said something along the lines of, chase God, chase him with everything you've got, because ultimately he is your soulmate. He's the only one that can satisfy your soul perfectly. But chase God in everything that you do. And once you feel like you're close to him, once you feel like you've been chasing him for a long time, look around and see who can keep up. Those are the people you want in your life. Those are the people that's going to be, your spouse. That's how you know who to stay, in communion with, stay close friends with. So that's 1. And then Father Mike had a little funny joke when he said that how to find the one. And he was talking to a bunch of teenage kids. And he said, okay, so what you do is you have both of you stand up, face each other, and put your palms out in the air like such. And he says, if you see a ring on either one of these fingers, that's how you know that they're the one. And he was obviously joking with them because they're teenagers. I mean, it's very rare to find somebody that, sticks with you throughout your whole life as a teenager. And so he was just saying that the person you're married to is the one. And until you're married to them, you're not going to know, essentially. Don't take that as discouragement, though, because it does happen that people marry their high school sweethearts. So that's not don't take that as discouragement. Secondly, I wanted to talk about how to judge how not to judge the relationship, right? Because sometimes we feel so in love. Sometimes we may feel so attached to each other and so emotionally intimate with each other that we may see this relationship going, 10 years into the future, when in reality it may only last 6 months. And I'm just warning you to not judge the relationship based on the intensity of the present emotions. Because just because you may feel really loved and they may really, really be affectionate towards you, doesn't necessarily mean that your future is destined to marriage. So just keep that on the back burner while you're discerning relationships with people, while you're discerning, if this is someone you should date or not. And lastly, I wanted to talk about winning a man over. This is primarily for you girls, but this also applies to us guys. Jason Everett talked about this. He said, what you win a man with is what you keep him with. if you win him with your body, he can find that anywhere. And to this day, I haven't met a single girl or a single woman who does not have a body. So what I'm trying to say is, if you win him with your body, which I hate to say it, but it's it's not replaceable, but your personality is so much more unique. If you win him with your personality, if he likes you or if he starts to, really discern the relationship with you because of who you are instead of what you look like, because let's be honest, we're all gonna grow old. We're all gonna change how we look at some point. We're gonna get old and we're gonna have wrinkles on our face and everything. So if you win him with your looks, that's not something wrong, but you keep him with what you win him. And so if you win him with your body, you're gonna keep him with your body. Problem is, every girl has a body. So how do you make that distinguishable? How do you make yourself distinguishable? It's by your personality, your smile, your laugh, your traits, your positive traits. That's what will win the man over, and that's what the right men will come looking for. So if they're not in your life right now, don't worry about it. They'll be there soon enough. And when they are, you'll know. So don't worry about that. Secondly, I wanted to talk about lust is not love. And this I've said before in actually my very first post on my Instagram account. Sex is not love. Lust is not love. I'll say that again. Sex is not love, and lust is not love. Okay, a lot of people in our culture get confused by this. And it's sad because it's not the same thing. So, to love, what is love, right? Love is to want the betterment of the other person, even if that means sacrifice on your end. Well, the guys typically who want to have sex with girls, who want to, go too far with a girl, they're not thinking about what's best for the girl. Because they're not thinking about the girl waking up the next morning and wondering if she's pregnant, and wondering if her mom will find out and her dad will find out. No, they're not worried about that. They just want the pleasure and they want to leave. And so that's not the same thing at all. They're not sacrificing anything. They're sacrificing you, if anything. They're sacrificing you for themselves. And that's not love. That is just straight lust. Secondly, I wanted to tell you a fact. And this is a proven fact. It's in Jason Everett's video. I don't know where he got it from, but I do know he had research on that. And so, again, that link is in the description if you want to go see it. The hookup culture, right? So, hookups before dating only have a 9% chance of becoming anything relationship-wise. And of that 91%, 90% of those people said they wished that they hadn't hooked up and started a genuine relationship first. See, we're in a culture where we're told to embrace the hookup culture. We're told to embrace, sex. But in reality, even the people doing it are regretting it. And so I think we should learn from that and shouldn't embrace this this radical idea of having sex before, even beginning a relationship, let alone marriage. The third sub-point would be a good quote I also got from him. He said that he had once heard a girl say that you cannot lift the veil on my body until you lift the veil on my head. That was a really good quote, and I suggest some of you use it because it is a really good quote, and that'll test a guy's love. If a guy genuinely loves you, he'll respect that, and he'll wait till he can lift the veil on your head. If he doesn't, you'll notice it. And it may not be immediate, but you'll notice it. 6 months down the road, 7 months down the road, you'll see it. And some people may say, some people may say to that, but Travis, I really love this girl I'm sleeping with. Well, then how come when in sight of an adult, pretty much, the guy will drop everything and run and hide from the person that loves her the most? How come that's true? It's because he knows that what he's doing, and it may not be sex, but he knows what he's doing isn't love. He's just saying it is love so that he can lust. And it's not the same thing. That's why these guys will hide. I'm not saying that a married couple will not be ashamed if someone had to walk in, but it's a completely different situation. It's a completely different situation. The guy will, you know, try and hide and try and he'll be ashamed because he doesn't love her entirely. He just wants her body in that moment. And so this last point may hit home for some of you, because for some of you, you may have fallen into the trap of the culture. Well, it's okay. You're not too far gone. You never will be. Even if you fall 100 times over, you will never be too far gone. And so here's how you can overcome lust and develop that into love. Right? Well, let's take a couple examples from the Bible. Mary Magdalene. I know I used her example for the last video, but she's a legitimately good example. She was a prostitute, and she was actually on the verge of being murdered, being stoned to death. But everybody was stoning her. Once they saw Jesus, and Jesus said, "Whoever hasn't sinned can throw the first stone," and can start throwing the stones. Sorry, alliteration, not too articulate this morning. Anyways, and so everybody left. And then once Jesus saw that she was truly sorry, he just said, "You are forgiven." And just like that, her slate was clean. Just like that, what seemed like a life of misery became a life of joy, because she was forgiven. And she wasn't just like, it wasn't just the words, she was truly forgiven. And you can be too. Just ask. God can undo any hurt. God can undo any knot. So be not afraid of that. Secondly, the 12 apostles. Can you seriously name one apostle who had a good past? Can you name one apostle who had a good past? They were all tax collectors and sinners, and they were all, they were like fishermen, just common men. And the Pharisees hated Jesus for it because they said, "Why is he eating with sinners?" They acknowledged the fact they were all sinners, and yet they were redeemed. Yet at his call, when they answered, they were forgiven, and they started over, and they started afresh. And look what they've done now. They've got such a huge church built. Well, I also would like you to challenge the person's love. If someone's in a relationship and they're pushing you to do something, or they're telling you to have sex with them, you know, challenge their love. Say, "Hey, no sex, nothing physical." Or shoot, even as you're meeting them and you're deciding on whether or not you want to, you know, enter that relationship with them, test it. And if they leave, then you know that's not, I mean, of course you're gonna feel hurt. I haven't felt that way, but I can empathize with you if that's what you've been through. But trust me, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. Because all those guys will do is use you, and all they will do is leave. Once they're done using you, once they're bored of you, they will leave. It's like you're a carton of cigarettes. No one leaves a package once they're done using the cigarettes. And so you're just an object at that point to them, and you are worth so much more. Doesn't matter what you've done, you are worth so much more than just an object. That being said, let's move on to the next one. Yeah, I talked about testing the guy's love. Another way to tell if it's true love, right, is the closer you get to the person, the more you're going to know who you are, and the more they're going to know who they are, the closer y'all get to each other. And so that's an important thing to know. That's an important fact to know, that it's not a one-sided relationship. You actually get to know yourself more as you embark on a relationship with them. And lastly, this whole thing was, I'm pretty much talking about this word called chastity. Now, in our culture nowadays, chastity is kind of frowned upon, kind of looked upon as if it's, you know, a prehistoric thing. But chastity isn't teaching about going to first base, second base, or third base. No. Chastity is teaching you to hit a grand slam at the bottom of the ninth to win the World Series. And I'm going to talk about this more next week. Hopefully. Just pray that I may be able to get this and my app doesn't crash again like it has for the past 5 times. But yeah, don't worry about going too far. Worry about going all the way. right? And with any boyfriend, it'll be going too far. Because you can't commit everything to a boyfriend, but you can commit everything to a husband. So, that being said, JP's video is coming out next week. This Sunday. Make sure to watch it. If you have to have this hard conversation with somebody, where you have to either break up with them or tell them or test their love, it's not easy to do so. But be not afraid, for I am with you. And by that, I mean Jesus. I was quoting scripture. But if you need someone to talk to, my DMs are open, my email is open, all right? Don't be afraid of that either. But JP's talk is coming out. That's over Be Not Afraid. So I hope that'll help. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know any thoughts down below in the comments, or DM or whatever.